Good morning. It's Scott X 1307, and this time, welcome you to part 5 of Craven's Last Hunt. It's ran through Amazing Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, and Spectacular Spider-Man. First, if you have not viewed the first 4 chapters of this, there'll be links below. Started with Tim Morant, followed by Wednesday Serial, then 64-page special, and the previous installment by Hori, host of Hoggoth. Today we're going to be looking at Amazing Spider-Man 294, which is part 5, Thunder. And, this story overall has been fantastic so far, and I was really glad to have this issue. This issue starts to bring everything together, and it's a fantastic piece of work. This is a fantastic cover. Previously, Craven had buried Spider-Man alive, and Spider-Man gets free in the last issue. Find out that he's been buried for 2 weeks. That's pretty harsh. So in this issue, Spider-Man goes and confronts Craven and tries to get a sense of why he has done these things. I love this first page here. This opening page, the imagery of the spider dangling over the rat with the thunder in the background. A little bit of foreshadowing. You go on to find out that, of course, Craven has also captured Vermin in the disguise of Spider-Man. Apparently, those 2 weeks that he's been buried, Craven has been going around dressed as Spider-Man. And this issue is it's a fantastic issue. It really gives you some insight into the mind of Craven, and it's told from his point of view, which I think is another rare thing, at least at the time, to see things from the villain's point of view. Excuse me. Which is kind of a unique perspective, especially in a Spider-Man story. But it starts off with Craven talking about he's remembering his family and how they were driven out of Russia, and how coming to America, instead of finding the American dream, all they found was poverty, filth. Drove his mother insane. She had to be locked up, and he blames what he calls the spider, which is, to him, the spider is that great thing that can bring about the downfall of societies or the downfall of a single person. And for some reason, the things that he talks about, I don't know why, but Moby Dick keeps coming to mind. And I see Craven kind of as Captain Ahab, and Spider-Man as the Great White Whale. It's that thing that you pursue, but it's always out of reach. And you know, if you if you kind of let go of yourself, it ends up driving you mad and can bring about your downfall. And it just seems like there's a little touch of that here. Spider-Man confronts Craven, and you know, immediately hits him right in the face. And Craven, at first, he kind of looks you know, surprised, but then he just kind of smiles. He tells Spider-Man, you know, can hit him again. In his head, he's thinking he's finally defeated the demon. He says, the demon I have at long last defeated. The demon that destroyed my father, consumed my mother. He's talking about a lot more than just Spider-Man. But he tells him, you know, he's not going to fight him. He tells him he's finally won. And he goes on to tell him, you know, I killed you, I buried you, and took your place. I've proven in all ways to be your superior. You get a little panel of vermin and some more thunder. And the thunder is like a clock in this issue. It's kind of counting down as we go along. But the Craven changes out of the fake Spider-Man costume, puts back on his normal costume, the hunter costume there. It takes him down into the basement of Craven's mansion to show him he has vermin captured, and tells him, you know, you were unable to defeat him alone. You and Captain America could barely do it together, but I defeated him. And you see that vermin, as monstrous as he looks and as monstrous as some of his deeds are, he really is just, he's like an animal in a cage. Very much like a child. So Craven kind of taunts Vermin a little bit, and then Vermin sees Spider-Man, and he's scared to death. Scared to death because Spider-Man beat him and humiliated him before. And we go on in this, it says Craven, he's looking for peace, and thinks that he finally feels that maybe that's in reach. You get another foreshadowing here. This rat and the spider. I love this imagery here. Kind of like the rat and the spider are starting to face off. Kind of gives you a glimpse of what's to come. And Craven is talking about being in the jungle, where he got the sense of this spirit, this demon, the ravenous spider. And he feels that Spider-Man is the embodiment of this. He's kind of possessed by it and doesn't even know it. Spider-Man tells him, you know, I've had it with you. You're just standing there and you're kind of grinning, and There, Craven says, it's possessed by the entity responsible for human suffering, world chaos, and he doesn't even know it. Craven kind of leaps up onto this big stuffed elephant, and he gives a big roar. He says, "Hear me. Hear the bellow of the elephant, the roar of the lion, the triumph of Craven." And in all senses, he really did defeat Spider-Man. He could have actually, probably actually killed him if he had wanted to, but he didn't. He didn't, so he could show him. He has to, it's not just gloating. He's trying to show Spider-Man something. And Spider-Man gets, he's mad. He's been buried for 2 weeks. Of course he's angry. He's kind of pissed. And so he picks up the elephant and throws Craven off of it. But Craven is just kind of, I don't know, he's got a look of this almost this happiness and sadness combined, if you know what I mean. It's a and he says, you know that you no longer have Craven in your power, and that not only scares you, it saddens you, and in some strange, inexplicable way, it saddens me too. And he shows a moment of emotion here, a feeling for Spider-Man. Of course, Spider-Man knocks his hand away, and he says, of course, the game isn't quite done. And he goes on to release Vermin, lets him out of the cage, and tells him Spider-Man is the one that hurt you and humiliated you. Don't let him get away with it. He thinks he's stronger than you are and better than you are. And he tells him to hurt him back. You owe it to yourself, to all of us. And you see kind of how easy to manipulate Vermin can be, how childlike he is. He jumps on Spider-Man, they begin to fight. And here you see the imagery of the spider and the rat from before taking place. And they fight. And it looks like Vermin can have the upper hand. And then you get another tick of the clock, the thunder. Cocoon. And as they're fighting, they're squaring off. And again, there's the rat and the spider squaring off. And Spider-Man tells him, no, it wasn't me. It was Craven dressed as me. But he begins to punch Vermin. He said, if that's the way you want it, that's how it's gonna be. And Craven just kind of staring on, just watching the outcome. Spider-Man says, he shot me, he buried me. Do you know what that's like, you stupid, disgusting animal? Do you know what that's like? And there's a moment of realization for Spider-Man. It's kind of reflected in this panel here with the rat and the spider. You see the rat just kind of, it's the same kind of way Spider-Man is looking. I think he realized, of course, Vermin very much knows what that's like to be buried, to be locked away. It's a man or a creature that lives underground. And again, there's more thunder, another tick of the clock. The rat gets the upper hand on the spider at the same time as Vermin. It's the upper hand on Spider-Man. They continue to fight. More thunder, more ticks of the clock as we're counting down to the end. And you see the rat triumphant over the spider. Eats the spider. As you see, Vermin appears to be triumphant over SpiderMan until Craven stops him. But SpiderMan has still been defeated in a way. Once again by Vermin. And of course Craven, he throws a knife, sticks in Vermin's hand, and says the point has been made, your work is done, and tells him to go. The Vermin runs off yelling free. And SpiderMan is kind of beaten down, tells Craven you can't just let him go. This Vermin runs upstairs, jumps out of a window. And then again, this issue made me feel really sympathetic for towards Craven. You get to see that as you get a little more of his mindset and his thoughts and feelings, you really begin to see that he is a person. He's not just a villain. He's a man. He has feelings. And there's Vermin, runs away as the rat finishes the spider. And Craven helps Spider-Man up. And this is kind of strange because it's always been his goal to defeat Spider-Man, to kill Spider-Man. And there he is helping him. And he says, the spider is alive in Vermin. There will undoubtedly be others to rise up in opposition, but it's no longer my concern. My spider is gone now. There's only a man. And he says, a good man, I think. How strange that I haven't been able to see that till now. No matter, I do see, and seeing Spider-Man, I thank you. And I bless you, if one such as Craven can give blessings. And Spider-Man says that I don't understand. Craven takes him upstairs and says, you're free, go. Of course Spider-Man says, you really expect me to go after, just let you go after everything you've done? Like Craven, you're just going to go out, you're going to ruin more lives. And Craven gives his word that from this night forward, the hunter will hunt no more. He feels that he has accomplished his goal. He has defeated his inner demons. And I think that's what this whole issue is about those inner demons that we all fight and we all have to face. And Craven even says every man, every woman, every nation, every age has its spider. You have been mine. What a burden. What an honor. And he feels that in some ways, perhaps, he has been Spider-Man's spider. And as Spider-Man leaves, you see Craven with an almost sad look on his face, but kind of a look of peace. He knows it's coming to an end. Spider-Man leaves, goes after Vermin, and Craven, in his head he says goodbye. And we come to the last couple of pages here, and you get to see Craven's mansion. Once again, the grave. Here lies Spider-Man killed by the hunter. A picture of Craven and his family when he was a boy. He's just standing by the window, watching the rain, listening to the thunder. Then he goes over to a coffin, and there's a gun inside, and another tick of thunder. The clock is running down He says, how calm I feel, how peaceful, as if something inside me, some knot, some tangle of fear and anger and so much more has been finally untied. All these years, and this is kind of repeating what he's thinking in the beginning. All these years fleeing Russia, suffocating in America, finding release, finding honor in the jungle. All these years, and I've never known peace or calm or that elusive thing called happiness. But I feel as if I can know it now, that it's nearby, just outside perhaps, hidden in the patter of the rain, the drumbeat of the thunder. Peace, calm, happiness, an ending, now. And just a warning for anyone, it's nothing very explicit, but this last page deals with some pretty heavy stuff. So if you're kind of sensitive, but I think we all know how this ends. The story's been around for a while, but you get that last little tick of thunder here, and then some of the best imagery in comics that I've ever seen. Unfortunately, it's of a very harsh and sad nature. There's Craven taking the rifle, puts it to his head, and he says, "They said my mother was insane." And you get that final thunder, and the last image is Craven's body, blood everywhere as he's fallen into the casket. Craven has apparently killed himself, and hopefully found his peace. It's definitely unending for him. So that was part 5 of Craven's Last Hunt. Hope you enjoyed my little review. The previous ones have been fantastic. Like I said, this issue is just the insight into Craven's mind and the way he thinks was amazing. And I really love all the symbolism with the thunder and the rat and the spider. But the clock has run out. Craven is now gone. So there's one more chapter left, and I hope everyone that's been watching these will stay tuned. Tomorrow should be chapter 6 from Howler Mouse, and there'll be a link below to his channel as well. So please go watch that for the finale. And thank everybody for watching this review, and for the watching the previous 4 issues as well from the other guys. Once again, it was part 1 was Tim Morant, part 2 Wednesday Serial, 3 was 64-page special, and yesterday was part 4 from the Hoary Host of Hagath. So, appreciate it, everybody. This has been very fun. What a fantastic story. Everybody take care. Later.